You talked about perspective. This is Bill's perspective.
The one today?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just wondering how many people are going to get left in this sweet golden parachute?
I don't know if we know. Do we, Michael?
Yeah, I don't have an exact number for you on that one, but to clarify, it's for leaves of absence or earning credit going forward, so not for new hires going forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then, do you think, Mr. Leader, that does this provide a talking point? The fact that some members voted for this and they wouldn't vote for 512 or something like it. Does this provide a talking point for them to say in a community forum, I voted for pension reform?
Sure, and I think that, you know, we actually, to be honest with you, not that the other stuff wasn't honest, but went back and forth about whether or not we should just throw this on to 512 because of that very point. But I think the magnitude of the problem of the unfunded liability is so not going to go away, and I think people are very, very much aware of how bad it is. They can say that. You know, people were saying they took care of pension reform when we did the tier 2. So you're going to see some of that. But look, this, when I say it's not going to go away, we're going to start working on next year's budget. The pension liability climbs by $500 million, or our pension payment climbs up by $500 million. If we don't do anything this year, the suggestion is that unfunded liability number climbs by 7. So it's pretty hard to run from this.
Anything else?
And I'm sorry if you said this earlier, but is it your intention to call the 512 next week?
I'm working with the speaker, and I'm not about to speak to the speaker, and I say that with all due respect. He'll let you know that. We want to have a bill ready, and we want to be prepared on our side, and that's what we're doing.
So your preference would be for it to go next week if you could have
You
it?
mean when we come back?
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
week after next.
Yeah, we have said from day one, this is a priority. We need to do it, and I'm going to. You can ask the fellow across the chamber what he wants to do. I'm not trying to be coy. I don't know what his intentions are. Let him speak for himself.
Would the effective date be January 1 or?
No, we have an effective date of 2013. Did we put in there? Or
The
2012?
benefits are going to take place on July 1 of 2013.
But it wouldn't have an effective date until July 1 of 2012. So we'll just need 60 votes.
Mentioned today, what was discussed?
We talked about, we're going to happen to have a list here. We talked about the budget, and we talked about unemployment insurance. We talked about this pension abuse bill that we just did, and we talked about CME.
The governor, I understand, says he won't sign the CME bill. He got out of Senate executive.
And he said he would do CME if we did a borrowing bill, or I'm sorry, a restructuring bill.
That was his condition?
4.5 billion,
Over what period?
7 years,
To help this current budget or to help next?
pay down bills,
4.5
4.5 billion.
over 7 years.
What was your response to that?
I'm not for restructuring or borrowing.
What about casinos? Did that come up? What was the tone, the tenor of the talks? Anybody raise their voice?
Define raise. No,
Like this.
It was okay. It was a typical leaders meeting. You know, there was some difference of opinion on borrowing. There's a difference of opinion on CME. One of the, I thought, productive conversations was around the budget. He, as you know, has threatened to close facilities. My point to him was they all seem to be downstate. We're willing to have a discussion about restructuring and closing and efficiencies, but you know, do it on a fair basis. We ultimately got to a point of having a conversation about what can you do to avoid that, and then still have a long-term conversation about closures. So the 4 caucuses agreed to look at how we could get to a number of anywhere about 250 million, give or take. I think it was 234, to avoid this immediate discussion of closures, and how we could reallocate money staying within the cap of 33.2. And that you would put all 4 caucuses together, see if we could work through that. And that was, I thought, a constructive use of our time.